Alright, we're going to smoke out some ribs. This is some good spare ribs right here. It's from the local grocery store. What I'm doing is I'm patting them dry. You always want to rinse them. Try to get most of the blood off. Any kind of slime that is on there. That's something critical to do, but I just like to do it. I'm going to be using some mustard as a binder. Just going to hold it on. Got these loose pieces. We're going to be doing some trimming. Get the membrane here I got to take off. It's just a process I go through. I'm smoking me some ribs. These were like $2.99 a pound. So everything's climbing up. So a lot of this fat here, like this, I'm going to cut off here because I want the ribs to cook evenly. This flap here over them. You can still cook this, by the way. It's meat, so which I do. Some of the extra fat I'll just get rid of. I'm going to keep most of it on there. You can see the silver skin. Try to get some of it off. This stuff's just hard to chew. It blocks seasonings that you're going to put on there. So if you're just taking the ribs right out of the package and throwing your seasonings on there and all that, it's going to work, but you'll be wasting a good percentages of your money and time with not going through a few minutes of extra prep just to get some of the things off of here. So the old trick here with this, nothing special, just try to break part of it free. I like to try to get this piece here, get it cut. Paper towel, because it's slippery. If you can grab onto it and just start ripping it. You can do it with your bare hands, but you'll find it's a little bit easier with a paper towel. If you see, comes right off. That's a useless part. Won't add any taste, and will actually give you a little bit of toughness. Very hard to chew it. It will break down a little bit, but not too much. So get some of the silver skin off. Doesn't have to be perfect. This ain't competition. This is just your backyard smoke. But to each his own. Get that off of there. I got a little piece over here. Gotta get a hold of. Sometimes comes off real easy, sometimes it don't. It's pretty good. Just looking right now. So looks like it's good. Alright, so next step, I'm going to do a binder. I'm not going to do too much more trimming. A couple spots of silver skin here I'm going to try to break loose. Yeah. Some of them are really, really tight on the meat, so I don't want to damage that. Now you can also cut this bone out here if you want to. You can come straight across right here. But all this meat here, I'm going to cook with my ribs. There's different styles. Everybody has their own. Me, I want to utilize most of my meat, so I'm going to keep this piece here. Trim down this fat a little bit. Turn this over. Need this chunk right here. Just going to trim it down. I'm not going to get rid of it. The thing is, this is the side I'm going to face the fire. Obviously thin, thick, so this is going to face the fire. A little bit of a fat barrier. Maybe get some burned ends on that, but I want that meat layer. When I get the ribs done, I will cut this piece off and then slice down the ribs. So all part of the process. So now get some mustard on here as the binder. I don't need a whole lot. I've heard some people that said this ain't gonna, there's just adding a binder, this ain't gonna really do anything for flavor. I think you're dead wrong. It's mustard. So you get a little bit. For the people that hate mustard, you won't like taste the actual mustard. So, but it will add some kind of a vinegar-ish flavor. You won't really tell with seasonings and rubs on it and all that. So I'm gonna cook this side. Some people put salts. I try to cook without salts on just about everything, and stuff has always been extremely good. So I know salt does have a purpose in new things, but I try to cook without it. Not that I have bad heart or anything, but it's one good habit of not relying on salt for your flavor and use other real ingredients. Well, it's real, but use garlic peppers, brown sugars, crushed red peppers, things like that. Salt's obviously not good for you, so I wouldn't say pork would be that well either, but why add more to it? It's a salty meat to begin with. So I'm just going to coat it now with some garlic pepper and rub right here. Just a generous amount. This piece also that I'm cooking. Cover it all. Get it nice and covered. Okay. I will be doing wet. What I do is I never put the sauce on until towards the end. I like to caramelize the sauce. If you put it on early, it'll burn all the sugars in it and all that. Same thing with brown sugar. You want to put smaller amounts. If you put big amounts of brown sugar, you're going to get burning real quick. To counter that, you're basically going to want to wrap it in foil. If you like a good amount of brown sugar, I just use it just to add that sweetness, no different than putting sugar in pasta sauce. So, okay, that's coated there. And I'm going to use this brown sugar bourbon mix. Normally I would do my own. I would use some brown sugar, onion powder, garlic pepper, salt, or not salt, garlic powder. I don't use garlic chunks. Powder works good because powder penetrates, versus the garlic chunks don't really penetrate into the meat, and you're going to lose a lot of it on the grill. So I used to, anytime you want to really get onion and garlic into your food, you want to use more of a powder base that can absorb and get into the meat. So the chunks are good for adding at the very end as a topping or something, but I wouldn't cook with them. They really don't add too much flavor. They burn and all that. So okay, that's about it right there. Looks good. We're going to be smoking this with probably some hickory and some pecan or so. Light woods. I don't do mesquite or anything like that on poultry and pigs and hogs. You can use it on beef, but on a porous meat you can get overpowering. I like the wood flavor, but not dominant. It's just to add a little bit to it. So I'm going to wrap these in foil, and then I'm going to let them sit in the fridge for I'm gonna let it sit for a day, and then I'll cook it the next day. I gotta work. Got some stuff to do, so hopefully I'll have time. Tomorrow, we'll fire up the smoker and get this going. Okay, pork's been sitting for 24 hours in the fridge. Long day at work. Nice and marinated. Just gonna throw it on, fat side facing towards the heat box. Bone side down. Right there, and that little piece with the meat. Throw that in there too. There it is there. Get it cooking. Quick update. Just had to store run. Get some charcoal. That's what I use. Cowboy. Slump wood. Using some pecan. A little bit of hickory. It's good stuff. Big chunks. So I'm getting it reheated again. Chamber holds about 210, 200 when I have this open. Sun kind of helps out, but I'll be updating here soon. Alright, so I got a little ahead. I forgot to hit the record button. All I did was I got the colors I wanted. Took some butter on the tin foil on the bottom, wrapped it, and then this is that little extra piece. Same thing, wrapped it, and it's going to finish cooking in the foil. Once it's about done, that's when I'm going to pull it out of the foil, put the barbecue sauce on it, and then I'm going to put it back in the smoker and caramelize the barbecue sauce. So I'll kick it in on the next step. Alright, sauce time. Just got done flipping it over. Some of the sauce on here. I know it's hard to see. Let me turn the light on. Alright, ribs are all nice and done. Smoked out, sauced up, caramelized. Just gonna pull them in and cut them. Don't need to show that, but that's how I do my smoked ribs. It's about time to head back to work, so I'm gonna cut these up and grab them with me. Of course, I love my fire. I'll be home soon. Appreciate y'all stopping by. I'm gone.